All right, this is part 2. What we're going to do is attempt to install the fuel pressure unit that we did on part 1. So first thing we start with, this is a fuel distributor. It's a CIS system for Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Jag, older stuff, BMW, things like that. It's a fuel distributor. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take a line here off of the fuel distributor. We disconnect here. We pull that over out of the way so that we can get to the unit underneath. Make sure everything's snugged up there. First thing we're going to do is take our adapter that we made in part 1, and we're going to thread that onto the hose tube fitting on the top of the CIS, like so. Have to hold that over out of the way a little bit. And we're going to snug that up so that we don't have any fuel leaks. Fuel leaks are bad.
Yeah, they are.
So we will tighten this up first, like so. That gives us a connecting point here. The next thing we're going to do is go to this piece, which will go here onto this item, like so. We will connect it this way. And that lets us break into the fuel line system for the purpose of being able to test the pressure.
And is that pre-distributor for fuel or post-fuel distributor?
This is pre-fuel distributor.
All right.
We snug that up. You'll also notice I'm missing a hose clamp right here. I'm not going to start the car. This car does not actually run, but I did not have another hose clamp. The other one broke because it's cheap garbage.
But this is identical to the other car we're going to do it on.
Yes, it is identical. So we have got this line coming from the pump. So we want to bring that to this unit and lock it in place. Then we want to take this unit, press it on here, lock it into place. Make sure the valve is off, at which point in time we can then connect to the top, lay it down, and we have our fuel pressure gauge connected. This is an emergency release that lets the fuel pressure off. You throw this over the side in case of any issues. Now this is connected to the fuel distributor, and if we were to power up the fuel pump, we should be able to read the fuel pressure. And when we want to take the system apart, we press the trigger, releases the fuel through the release valve, and we can disconnect it from the car. If you follow all the tests and the specifics in the service manual, it'll tell you to open and close this valve accordingly based on whether or not you're testing one item or another. But that's how you install the fuel pressure gauge on a CIS fuel injection system. And instead of paying a couple $100, if you've got a fuel pressure gauge, you can build the entire unit here with the T-fittings and use a standard fuel pressure gauge if you get creative.
And what's the fuel pressure we're looking for on this?
Fuel pressure on this car to be optimum for the main pressure line should be right at 5.2 to 5.8 bar, which comes in the ballpark about 80, 81 PSI in that ballpark. Then when you close the valve, it should read about 40. Actually, that's opening the valve, but when you close the valve, it should read 40 on the other side. That's your secondary fuel bypressure. Once you know that both of those were in specifications, you would proceed on to a flow test, which we'll cover in another video.
Just for sake of conversation, what is the flow we're looking for?
I'd have to look that up in the specifications. We haven't got to that page yet.
All right, well, we'll do more in the future.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you, everybody. God bless.